Welcome to On the Point Podcast, a podcast for all things Overwatch with a heavy focus on League. We're looking to have a shorter episode today, I think. We've only got one page of notes.
Yeah, we don't have the 3 to 5 that we have the past couple of weeks because not all that much has happened. We could talk about the State of Overwatch thing that Seagull put out, which, interesting stuff. Watch the video, look at the responses, but not really necessarily what we get into over here.
And that's not actually a thing I've seen, so talking about that would be interesting.
Yeah, so watch the Seagull thing. He talks about his thoughts on the state of the game, the problems that he thinks are there. Surefour kind of was like, well, you didn't give any possible solutions, but game devs don't really want the community to give them the solutions. Give them the problems and they'll figure that out is generally just... They don't like it when you do their job for them, so I'm sure in a way they actually just appreciated a detailed breakdown of balancing issues and stuff, but...
I did see cracks from Surefour on Twitter where he said, people are saying that I'm not looking at it from a solo queue player's point of view when all I do is solo queue.
Yeah.
Solo queuing is fun.
Solo queue is, it's a thing. It is indeed a thing that happens, and it can be fun.
But see, your queuing is usually in comp, and my queuing is in quick play, so I can get away with a lot more.
True, although comp has a different set of problems.
Oh yeah.
People are more frequently lulzy motherfuckers who don't give a shit in QP, but in comp you deal with a lot more tryhards who think they know it. Okay.
I know. That's why I don't do comp. Anyway.
Well, I had a first today. Let's do the intros, and then I'll talk about this first that I had in comp today before we get into what we're actually here to talk about.
All right, well, I'm Katie. I'm the casual, the support main, and the person who lives in quick play because comp is beyond me.
I'm CJ. I play main tank. I now play for a team in Overwatch Pretenders, the Mercury Cougars. I am their main tank.
And he has been running train with them. The match today was pretty damn great.
Was a 4-0. Feels good, man.
Yeah. It was a 4-0 after how many rounds on Volskaya? 3?
It was the third round of Volskaya where we finally... Honestly, we would have won that sooner if we had adapted to the Sombra a little quicker. The team we were playing against has a pretty solid Sombra who kept getting behind us and getting off hacks at very inopportune moments that kind of screwed with us, but we had it figured out by the second go around and just were able to stuff that, so felt good.
Yeah, we definitely heard the hosts in between the breaks talking about Goats comp and how to counter it, and I'm sitting here going, call it Chupacabra, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Sombra was the only hard part.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you had a first in the comp.
I have never had a Tracer get upset with me as someone who plays main tank, and I was playing Winston at the time, for diving the enemy back line.
What?
Yeah, they're like...
Isn't that the point of dive?
Yeah, they're like, oh, no, the DPS do that, and everyone else in the game was like, no, the tanks do that too.
Because if the DPS only do that, the DPS occasionally get their faces kicked in.
Yeah.
If your Zenyatta is a murder bot.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I wasn't even able to really dive the back line when he started complaining about it, because the supports in that game were not very good. And it was a very spam-heavy comp we were playing against, so I just kept getting chipped to death before I got anywhere near the back line. And they're like, I haven't seen our tanks all game, and I'm like, well, there's a reason for that. And they're like, well, you dive in the back line all the time. And I'm like, should I not be? All conventional wisdom from everyone says otherwise.
How did the rest of the team react to that?
There was a lot of just confused dog noise,
if everyone else is confused,
whomst are you and what the fuck are you talking about?
Maybe you need to get with the picture. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I have several stories about Overwatch, but yeah, no, my go-to is the Tracer story.
Yeah.
And I've told you this one, haven't I?
I think so.
I don't think I've told the audience this one. Are you willing to sit through it again?
All right.
Playing Uprising, which I love PvE events, and I wish that they would do more of them. Because
I do too.
Uprising and Retribution are some of the most fun I have doing this game. And Uprising with Symmetra is a blast. Because while the robots are smart enough to pick off the turrets, that doesn't mean they always survive.
Yeah.
And it's a good time. But I was playing all heroes as Mercy, as I do.
Yeah.
Teamed with one of my friends who was a very solid tank, and she was playing Orisa. And we had a Reaper, and we had a Tracer. And this was back before the Mercy rework, so Rez was still her ult. I had to bring the Reaper back once, which, alright, you get one. I had to bring that Tracer back 4 separate times, because she would go to the ass end of the map, get stuck with about 15 different Omnics between us, and then go, I need healing! And I'm like, that's nice. I'm staying on the payload, where I'm supposed to be, and where the tank with the shield is. 4 separate times. Twice with the R mechanic, twice with the ult. And at the end of it, after they were showing everything and showing our stats, and I was complaining about it to my friend, which it was just the 2 of us mic'd and not the whole team, at one point I wound up yelling, heroes never die, but for you I will make an exception! Like, single worst Tracer I have ever come across.
Just cut to that moment from Blade, just some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. Just
kind of, yeah. And it was just like, after the first 2 times, like, you get 1. Okay, you get 2. There aren't really health packs around here. But you're the one with the high mobility. Yeah. It is your responsibility to get your ass back to the payload when you need healing. Yeah. You have 3 blinks. You can do it.
I will say, bad DPS always make me think of Far Cry 3, that, did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? Which, if you haven't played that game, just go look up that speech, Far Cry 3 definition of insanity. Michael Mondo did like full motion capture and voiceover for it.
Nice.
And it's one of the most chilling things. It's just, oh, it's so good.
I've not played Far Cry 3, but Going Wisdom says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing multiple times and expecting different results.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. He's just like, first time someone said that, I didn't believe him. I thought he was fucking with me, so boom, I shot him. But I started looking, and I started seeing everywhere I looked. Fucking pricks everywhere I looked. Like, it's just go watch it. It's so good. It's so good.
So, yeah, so...
We should get on topic.
I mean, in the comments, or tweet it to us, your bad player stories.
Yeah, please do.
I don't want to hear about abusive players, because that's not nearly as fun sometimes.
Yeah.
I just want to hear about that beautiful, beautiful idiot that you played with that one time, and you will never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the person who told me when I was on a team of 5 DPS and was the only support, when I said, hey, can someone please go tank? They said, you do it. I went, I'm the only healer on this team. You want to die? And then when we inevitably lost, they went, why was no one tanking? Well, let's rewind about 5 minutes and payload map. 5 minutes and think about this one. So I want to hear the stories about the beautiful idiots that you have been paired with, for better or for worse.
Yeah, there's always that game of DPS chicken in quick play where like 4 people auto lock and then you're just waiting to see which one of them is going to give up out of a desire to win and play something else.
It's always me. It's always me. Because I'm like, we're on a defense map. This is a really good... I want to play Symmetra here, and I'll pick her, and then everyone else picks later, and we wind up with 3 other DPS, and I'm sitting here going, that's not fair. I was here first. Fine.
But they don't give a crap.
No, they don't. Such is life. Be kind to your teammates, even if you don't know who the hell they are.
True. However, the world has been kind to you today, recently. Yesterday, let's call it, because you got your pink team.
I did! I got my bright-ass pink and electric blue team, and I am so into this.
It wasn't the one that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Vancouver, because if they have signed Runaway, Runaway's whole thing was they showed up in bright-ass neon pink sweaters.
2 pink teams. 2 pink teams.
Do it.
2 pink teams.
Do it. Vancouver.
I want it.
Vancouver, don't be cowards. Commit.
See, we have this baby blue pink team. You guys can go like fuchsia. Different shades of pink.
Well, the Spark is a very, like, neon pink. I want to go, like, powder pink, like, lighter, fluffier pink.
Yeah.
Just do it. Play with it. You've got design people that are better at this than I am.
Yeah.
Let them go nuts with it.
Also, I think I just said baby blue pink. God bless.
Baby blue pink.
Yay.
I'm the one who's had, like, most of a drink.
It's been a very long day. This is not the first thing I've recorded today, and that takes spoons.
It's true. It's true. But yes, Hangzhou Spark, they unveiled their branding, their coaching staff, and some of their roster. According to a post on Weibo, they're going to be announcing 2 players a day until they've unveiled their whole roster. The coaches, Mask from X6 Gaming. X6, we've talked about them a little bit before. They're a team that sort of came in big towards the later days of Overwatch Apex and ended up winning the first season of Contenders Korea.
Okay.
They were semi-finalists in the second season. Really strong team with great coordination, a lot of very mechanically solid players, and some of whom have ended up here. Next is Supreme, who is the coach-founder of a Korean Contenders team called Seven. They came up even later than X6, when X6 was sort of hitting the scene. Like, X6 hit Contenders in Season 3, which was... There were 4 seasons of Apex. 7 was getting big in sort of the trials, the, like, Tier 3 scene, and they were stomping everybody, and they were kind of considered to be big, and they've made some deep runs in Contenders. But they're a team that has a lot of potential, but has not quite put the pieces together yet, despite having a lot of strong members at each role.
And now their coach has been signed to a pro team.
Yes, their coach and founder.
Which is why Supreme is spelled with a 7 smack in the middle. I had no idea how to pronounce that.
Yeah, Subsevenine?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's almost like Persephone, Subsevenine.
Something like that, yep.
And Yindong from LGD, which LGD is also where we get Gushui, who we'll be back to him in a minute. But one of the stronger teams in the Chinese contender scene. And I'm happy that they have a Chinese coach in there, because with the Shanghai Dragons, a lot of it seems to be like, okay, we'll keep our 1-star Chinese player and rebuild around this roster of mechanically better Koreans who have been a team's core before. I like that Hangzhou is keeping it at least a little bit in the family, so to speak.
Well, the Dragons have something to prove.
That's true.
The Dragons, they really have something to prove after a 0-win season.
Yeah, I think every Chinese team definitely has something to prove as a result of that poor performance, but Shanghai more than anyone. So yeah, the players that they've announced so far are Gushui of Team China fame. We were talking a bunch last week about how a lot of players deserve to be in there. Gushui's definitely one of them. And his alternate on main tank is No Smite from X6, also known for his main tank play. He's been around for a while. Actually played in, I think the first big tournament he was in was Season 3 of Overwatch Apex, where they made a name for themselves by beating out Envious, the team that would become Dallas Fuel, during their sort of run back to the top of the heap. Beat them in the group stages, and then had a narrow loss to them in the playoffs.
Okay.
So, good stuff. His partner on the flex tank is Rhea, known for some pretty solid Diva and Zarya play. And the other person who's been unveiled is Adora from Seven, one of their DPS players.
So how many players do you think we're looking at? We have a minimum of 8.
Yeah.
Like a league-required minimum of 8.
Yeah. I think we're going to see most teams sort of go to maybe 8 or 9. I'd be surprised if we get to like 11 or 12, just because at a certain point, you've got more players than you can realistically put in. And no matter how good players are, you can't entirely meta-proof a team just because of the amount of maps and opponents that you have to prepare for.
True.
And you just don't have enough hours in the day to really devote the adequate amount of preparation to everybody on a roster that big.
So you want to be sure and sign people who are a little more flexible.
Yeah, you want to make sure you sign people who are flexible, but have, 2 to 3 backups that you can stick at various rosters as the situation requires.
Okay.
I think maybe 10 is probably going to be on the high end of the average, but I think maybe 9 is going to be where a lot of teams will sit, or at least that's my instinct.
Okay.
So, the other one, we got Chengdu Hunters and the Guangzhou Charge. They both announced their team name and branding, but we don't have any real solid announcements yet in terms of their players. We do have rumors, though, and we're going to get into those in a minute.
Okay, I have to say I love the Hunters.
Yeah.
I love that they went with bright-ass yellow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you.
I appreciate that they also have the yellow and black, but it's very visibly different from Soul Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dynasty is also black and gold, and that's very different.
Well, true, but at the same time, it's a yellowish color with black. Even if it's, metallic tinted instead of, matte or whatever, you could still get those confused if the colors are laid out similarly enough, because Overwatch is a game where there's a ton of stuff happening, and everything moves very fast, and I'm glad that they kept it visually distinct, especially when we've been complaining about how many teams have such similar color schemes, like the Paris Eternal.
God bless them. God bless them. Just pick red and blue. It's like, And we've talked about that before. We will probably talk about that again. But even with the Hunters versus the Dynasty, I trust that their home and away skins will be different enough from each other that it's easy to...
Similarly distinct.
Yeah. But even then, you'll be able to tell the difference between this is a Dynasty away skin and this is a Hunters away skin.
Yes.
I'd like to think that where the accents are placed and whatnot will also be differently designed.
Yeah.
Like NYXL is about the only one that has a nice big color patch on Zenyatta's head, which is kind of the reason that I can't stand the NYXL Zenyatta away team. It's like, shoot here. Here's the big red target.
Another aside about the branding stuff real quick. Hangzhou did trademark the Hangzhou railgun, but Blizzard shot it down.
I mean, I can see why, but also that's hysterical.
Yeah.
And I don't mind Charge as a name.
Yeah.
It's going to get interesting here in LA.
Hangzhou, not Guangzhou. Hangzhou trademarked the railgun and got shot down.
Okay.
Guangzhou had the charge.
I'm good at this. I'm real good at this.
You've had a long day.
I've had a very long day. Yeah, I do appreciate the Charge, though. It might get interesting down here with the San Diego Chargers moving up to LA and being purple and yellow.
Yeah.
So that, football things.
Charge at least has some distinct colors. They're blue and green.
Are they blue and green, or are they blue and teal? I thought they had, like, a blue and an electric blue.
Yeah, it was greenish. Blue-green.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I do like their color scheme, even though their main colors are blue and kind of blue.
Yeah, I feel like the Chinese teams have done a very good job of giving themselves distinct color palettes, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone who is red and blue.
Red and blue.
And we're back to it.
Red and black.
God bless. I don't think we have another... Well, we've got 2 red and yellow teams, but at least their color palettes are inverted.
Yes. Although I think the Dragons got the better end of that trade, personally.
I do, too.
They don't look like a mustard bottle.
Well, I loved there was a rumor for a while that Mayhem was going to change their colors and go dark blue and hot pink, which would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was just a rumor.
Lean into Florida Vice, like Miami Vice as your team's organizing theme.
And I mean, their graphic design is already fantastic.
Yeah.
But can you imagine a dark blue background and then that hot pink palm bomb?
I would love it. I'd be all about it.
It'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
I'd put that on a shirt.
Yeah,
Wear the hell out of that.
You can have that one for free. Just do it.
Yeah. Well, sadly, there was nothing to that rumor because I was super, super excited for it.
Oh,
so
yeah,
of course it didn't exist.
Well, that was everywhere for a couple months, too.
Yeah.
So those are our new teams, but we do have some roster moves for the existing teams. Not too many, but the first one is Dallas Fuel has announced the long-expected off-tank signing that people have sort of been expecting they'd make.
All right.
And they picked up RCK from Team Gigante, the former frontline partner of Paris's LH Cloudy.
Okay.
Dallas continuing to just sign everyone with a 3-letter name.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, AKM, OG, now RCK. I'm sure there's someone else.
We need like a Venn diagram
Yeah.
of these different names and where they overlap.
I'm sure they'll sign NBK from Counter-Strike. Just,
yeah, sure. I have no idea, but the Fuel does what the Fuel does, and we will see what happens.
Yeah.
Because the Fuel definitely had some issues starting last season
Yeah.
and got a lot better towards the end.
Roster issues, coaching issues, just... If there was a place where you could have pulled the block out of that Jenga tower, it seemed to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
RCK, very nice addition. He was a bright spot on a pretty already stacked roster, at least from my estimation. He, like I said, he's from Team Gigante.
So you're excited about this.
Yes.
This is your team.
I love Finnish players, okay? They're just always a lot of fun to watch. So they came in second in the first season of EU Contenders. They came in third to fourth in Season 2. And they won Summer and Winter Assembly, which are tournaments that were done sort of local to the Finnish scene.
Okay.
Yeah, and
we're going to talk about local tournaments a little later,
Yeah.
I think.
And he's a mechanically awesome off-tank with a lot of great communication abilities. Like, I was watching, after the signing was announced, there were a couple days where he was streaming very consistently with a lot of the other Dallas Fuel players. And there were a lot of times where, one, on Diva, he'd be eating grabs all over the place and landing huge bombs, be consistently landing big grabs with Zarya.
Okay.
And every time, like, an ult came up, like, every time Widow popped wall hacks, he's like, okay, it's over at this time code.
Wow.
Yeah. And
dang.
Really good communication, knows all the cooldowns and all the sort of nuts and bolts mechanical info, and he's just a really good player. And I think, considering off-tank has been kind of a weakness for the team, as much as I love Mickey, he hasn't really adapted to the new style of Diva after the changes sort of came through. His Zarya's solid, but not great. His Roadhogs looked pretty good in the first couple stages when they brought him out. But having...
But Roadhog is a very specific hero.
Yes. And I think having a solid, dependable off-tank who doesn't have that problem of being overly aggressive is going to go a long way towards helping the Dallas Fuel stabilize on the front line. And also it frees up Mickey to go play, Brigitte.
True.
Which he's proven to be very good at.
He's kind of terrifying sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about RCK joining up.
Partially because it's your team and partially because he sounds pretty wild.
Two of my teams.
Oh, yeah.
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 So, the other thing that I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier is the website for Contenders, which Contenders is ramping back up. Go watch it. Go see a lot of the players you'll be seeing in Season 3. Go watch some good Overwatch. It's a great way to get your fix while you're waiting for Season 2 of League to begin.
And that's not till February, so
Yes.
you've definitely got some time.
Yeah. So, the Contenders website, as they're ramping back up, there have been some interesting roster changes for the teams down there that could have some bearing on signings for the Overwatch League.
So you have this written as Contenders website leaks changes.
They haven't
Is
been
this considered a leak?
Well, I put it that way because it hasn't been officially announced through the team's social media or a representative. However, it is official.
On the website.
Yeah, it's on the official Contenders website, meaning it's what they have submitted to Blizzard.
So somebody doing website updates probably jumped the gun somewhere.
Maybe. So the first couple changes all kind of center around Fusion University. Fusion University has won NA Contenders both seasons in a row and made it look easy doing it.
Dang.
They were actually where Arrow, the head coach of the Dallas Fuel, was working after FNRGFE all got signed to Houston Outlaws. He became their head coach for a while. They dominated. got picked up by Fuel. They continue to dominate thanks to the really solid fundamentals that he kind of instilled in them as a team. And two of the big star players for them are their main tank, Beast Halo, and DPS, particularly Genji and Doomfist Wunderkind, Who Are You?
Okay, but who is it?
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Well,
there's a whole big who's on first bit that we could do, but won't.
Oh, Monty and Doa did it when they were casting in Korea.
Oh, bless. Of course they did.
Because Who Are You was playing in the first season of Apex at like 14.
Dang.
And dominating. He was part of the original lineup. Well, not the original, but the lineup where they sort of took prominence for Lunatic High, the team that would become Seoul Dynasty.
So the second he turns 18, he's going to get snapped up by a
Yeah,
league
especially
team.
considering how strong he's been for Fusion University. Because he's looked badass. He has not missed a step and has just gotten better. And he's 17 now.
Waiting a year.
Yeah.
Possibly in the middle of
August.
next season.
August. Turns 18 in August.
Okay, so maybe for season 3.
Maybe. But the Fusion University roster on the Contenders website no longer has Beast Halo or Who Are You as part of the team.
Interesting.
So the rumor mill for a while, and we haven't really reported on this because we try to limit what we're talking about in terms of leaks and rumors and stuff that hasn't been confirmed.
And we've had so much other stuff to talk about.
Yes.
It's been pretty wild.
But rumor has been tying Beast Halo to the Chengdu Hunters for a little while. So the fact that he is no longer on the Fusion University website, and I checked, he's not on another Contenders team's roster, could mean that the signing has gone through.
Is he old enough to play on a league team?
I'm pretty sure that he is. I will
Okay.
double check it right now.
I'll take a look. Yep, mine requires a little less clicking.
True.
Okay, but in the meantime...
The other thing is, allegedly, Who Are You has had some behavioral issues, and Fusion University has been looking to trade him somewhere else. Now, I have heard nothing as to whether or not this is true aside from rumors. However, he did have apparently some behavioral issues on Lunatic High that led to him being benched for an extended period of time during Apex Season 3.
Beast Halo is only just 18 as of this year. So,
he qualifies.
old enough.
But yeah, so Who Are You apparently had some behavior issues in the past, and I don't know if the rumors came from someone in the know talking when they shouldn't, or whether it's just assuming that the pattern of behavior has repeated itself somehow. I don't know.
Someone thinking that they have 2 and 2 and can predict 4.
Yes. So, beats me. I can't say with any certainty. If he ends up on another Contenders team, it would probably be Genji, or Genji, I don't know how to pronounce it, which is Seoul Academy's newly formed... Seoul Academy. It is Seoul Academy. Seoul Dynasty's new academy team.
If it's a behavioral issue thing, are we looking at yet another XQC Defran?
I have no idea, because I have no idea what it was the first time.
Okay.
They were really tight-lipped. They said he just did something he shouldn't have, and then said nothing about it ever again.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Probably not something done in public then, or we'd know.
And then he didn't really play again until he was on Fusion University, and I've heard nothing about him misbehaving until really digging into this, so I have no idea, again, whether it's true or not, or anything.
Huh. That I don't really have anything else for that. Just, huh.
There was a joke...
This is one of those things where it's only really of interest because he's so ridiculously good.
Yeah, and well, also it's just the return of the meme, because after Who Are You kind of just vanished from Lunatic High's roster.
No, it's Where Are You?
Yeah, that was the joke, yeah.
No.
That was the joke.
Oh, honey, no.
And there is one other big roster change in Fusion University, which is Elk is not the only two-way contract we've got.
Huh.
So, for the record, their new main tank is Changshik from Meta Athena.
Okay.
He's good.
He did that crazy play that we talked about, I believe, last episode.
The big crazy... He was part of the team that pulled that off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's no longer just one two-way contract in Fusion University, which is Snillo from the Fusion is now playing on Fusion University under a two-way contract, which means they can bring him up for 2 games per stage.
Okay.
You're making a face here. You don't know what to think about that?
I don't. Did he used to play for Fusion and now...
Yes.
So what would the reasoning be behind this?
Because he played 2 heroes at an Overwatch League level, Tracer and Widowmaker. Both of whom are not super used right now.
Okay, so it's a meta problem.
It's a meta problem, and also I think it's just a good opportunity for him to go down and develop his hero pool. Spread out and, develop other talents to to fit into the puzzle of Fusion's main roster.
Okay. So, it is a good reason to take a step back and learn something new.
Exactly.
In a slightly less high-pressure environment.
Yeah, and if they end up coming into a situation where they need a Widow or a Tracer, like if Carpe breaks his hand or something.
God forbid.
Yeah, if he pulls a bird ring and punches a desk.
Was that what bird ring did?
Yeah, we talked about this. We have your...
Oh, that's right. It's still funny.
Yeah.
I still feel bad for him, but man... Don't do that, guys. Punch a pillow. That's what they're there for.
Not always in reach.
Find a pillow and punch it. Mm-hmm. Sit on a pillow.
But yeah. So they have him on a 2-way contract. They can bring him up. He's a resource that they have access to, even if it is limited.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes more sense than keeping him on a full contract if you can't play him at all, or releasing him entirely where someone else might grab him.
Exactly. However, he is not the only 2-way contract we're going to talk about today, which is Gator from Atlanta is going to be playing main tank for the Atlanta Academy team, and he is on a 2-way contract. This means that he'll have time to sort of develop down in Atlanta Academy. They can call him up if needed, but it means that Pokpo and Dako will be our starters for the Atlanta Reign.
So do we think that this was always the plan, or do we think that he got demoted, as it were?
I have no idea. They announced him as part of the starting roster, so maybe it was a sort of post-signing decision, but I can't say with any degree of certainty.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how DeFranta turns out.
It will.
I can't not think of it that way, because we've talked about it.
Well, yeah, because he's become the defining figure for the team, whether you like it or not.
They made their decisions.
Speaking of decisions, we talked a long time last week about players that really deserve to sort of get a bigger platform to make themselves known.
Otherwise known as all of Team Australia.
Yep, and we do have a signing from Team Australia.
Hell yeah.
They are now playing on Team Envy, Dallas Fuel's Academy team, replacing their former main tank player, iShiny.
I don't think you gave us the name. Trill.
Yes, Trill. Trill from Team
That
Australia.
incredible human.
Yes. And I'm very happy.
Oh, yeah, no, he was great.
He is. He's a fantastic main tank. He's now got a bigger stage to show his stuff on against... higher level competition and a computer that's not going to be giving him a ping of 200.
Yeah. Well, I'd say less the computer and more
Internet
the location.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the end result is it's a great step towards Trill getting developed to the Overwatch League level. It's just a great step forward.
So we'll repeat history, we'll bring him into Dallas, and then the Valiant will take him.
We shall see. We shall see. Because don't forget, we got Unco as well.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And also, Custa had played on other non-Australian teams before the Dallas Fuel.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just making dumb jokes. Why wouldn't I? We're
We'll
here.
see.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm here for. Awful, awful jokes.
Yeah, and hey, you guys got fate.
That's true. We have all sorts of lovely human beings on our team. I'm very happy.
Mm-hmm.
We no longer have Soon. which is sad.
I still can't believe
But-
that happened.
I mean, with the arrival of a Paris team, I can.
Oh yeah, I just can't believe that Valiant was okay with it, is what I'm saying. I can see
think
Soon
it's-
wanting to go. I could see Paris wanting to have him. I just can't imagine Valiant being like, all right, let's do it.
I hesitate to... I have no idea what happened behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, none of us do. But I feel like he would not have been happy continuing to stay with the Valiant when there is an opportunity to be on the Paris team.
Especially when
and
he's
comms
now,
entirely in French.
especially when he's now the only Frenchman over there. He doesn't have Unco anymore.
Yeah. So it's if you can do comms in your native language, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
And
it's
I
true.
feel like that was probably a very big consideration for it. Mm-hmm. So
I can
it's,
agree with that.
You know, I can't blame him. I
Although-
don't know what the decision-making process was for the Valiant. I don't know if they got something out of it otherwise, but it was the right decision for him.
Yeah, agreed.
Now we'll see how Paris does. And we'll see how Kareev does, flexing all over the dang place.
Well, don't forget, you guys picked up Ding, or was that Gladiators picked up Ding?
I don't remember.
I'm now getting my. Oh yeah, no, it was Ding. It was Roar and
Okay, no, Roar was definitely Gladiators.
yeah, because it was Roar and Ding going to Gladiators at the same time.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know that we've had many, if any, Valiant pickup stories.
Yeah, or not Ding, Decay, because Ding's on Dragons. God damn it, there's two.
I was very confused.
There's too many. Okay, there's
Your
two,
job is to know this.
there are too many D names that were on Kongdu Panthera. Okay.
You ever think that was maybe their thing? Yeah. Everyone starts with D. It was like Diva's previous gaming team before they became mechs, and that's
Yeah.
why there was Demon and others.
Yeah.
They all started with D dot something.
Ugh. But
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I mentioned it before, and I'll just say it again briefly. Losing Soon, though, does put Valiant in a position where they've lost some firepower. They don't have, like, Bunny.
Have you seen Kareev's Widowmaker?
I'm the one who gave you clips of it.
He's a horror show.
No,
I love
he's
it.
really good. I'm just saying, you guys don't have Verbo anymore. You would need to sign a new support player if you're going to have Kareev flex to DPS full time.
They've been having Izayaki.
Oh, I forgot. They don't play him like ever, so I forgot
They've
he
been
was
playing
there.
him a hell of a lot more now that Kareev has been flexing. I believe it's been Kareev and Izayaki back and forth on the two roles.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just feel like it's better to have a full-time DPS player who can work on improving and adapting to new strats than someone who has to kind of divide their time and energy between the demands of two different roles.
I mean, probably.
I don't think
But
it's
for
a
what they're
bad idea, because Kareev is awesome.
Kareev is terrifying.
Yeah,
He is a scary, scary man to play against.
but we shall see. Just
Yeah.
take a shot. We said it again.
Yep. But yeah, and Valiant have so much time to sign someone else.
They do.
If they intend
They do.
to or need to. We don't start till February. We've got, and is it early, late, mid-February? Do we have a date or is it just a month?
I don't know.
I feel like at this point we just have a month.
I think it's just a month right now.
So we have, at the time of this recording, we have 2.5, potentially up to 3 months
Yes.
before we start, depending on when in February it happens. So they've got time.
Sorry,
They've got time.
I saw the corner of my eye, Becca, just with the pot and the fucking big wooden spoon eating corn.
The behind the scenes of the podcast.
Yeah, I made food before this.
See, at AfterBuzz at this point, if we'd make a visual joke, we would say, for all you podcast listeners, the people who couldn't actually see what's happening. But the point of this is that it's audio only. So for all you podcast listeners, which is literally the entire audience, we have a message from our sponsor. As always, as usual, Fred's BS is sponsoring this podcast, and that is Breads and Spreads by Fred. Fred's BS is an LA local one-man baked goods business that offers unique flavors in small batches. Whether you're looking for homemade jams, brownies, blondies, or brown sugar buddies, the best cookies you've ever had, Fred's BS can provide. All products are made in small batches with fresh ingredients. Nothing is ever frozen. Fred provides a plethora of flavors that can't be found in stores, like the aforementioned Brown Sugar Buddies or his Strawberry Peach Paradise Sunrise Jam. Also, if you're LA local, you can choose pickup instead of delivery and get your goods even sooner. Head to fredsbs.com and use coupon code ONTHEPOINT for 20% off your entire order. That's fredsbs.com and coupon code ONTHEPOINT. Fred's BS. Treat yourself because you deserve it. The holidays are coming up. If you are listening to this before Thanksgiving, the Brown Sugar Buddies are so good for seasonal cookies. If you have apple butter, if you have pumpkin butter, if you're that kind of person, it goes really, really well on that. You can frost them, put a little bit of pumpkin on them, use that as your Thanksgiving dessert. If you don't like pumpkin pie or whatever you want to do.
I want to have them with like a cheesecake dip.
Yes. Oh, that would be super good too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking cream cheese or buttercream frosting. And also, I believe this is something that he has on the store right now, sampler packs. I think at the moment it is half a dozen cookies, 1 brownie, and a small jar of jam. I believe that's what it is. I don't have it right in front of me, so it's something like that. So it's very, very good for, I would like to try a sampler of Fred's goods. I kind of want to know what he's about. So you order that, you get a little bit of everything, and then you realize that you want a lot of everything, and you place another order, and you get 20% off with coupon code ONTHEPOINT. Seriously, they're so good. And the holidays are coming up. It's such great gift-giving material.
I still can't get over the fact that one of your friends had their sister's wedding was catered by Fred.
Yeah, the dessert table at her sister's wedding was catered by Fred's BS.
Yeah,
people went crazy for it.
It's really good.
She had I believe a s'mores bar and used the Brown Sugar Buddies and a little bit of melted chocolate and a toasted marshmallow on top.
Yeah, I'm still not over that.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible. I would not shill something that I didn't believe in myself. I highly recommend Fred's BS. It is super, super good stuff, y'all. Do the thing. Win the stuff. Treat yourself. It's definitely the season for it.
And it supports us.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, back on topic.
Speaking of community, because let's be real, we're a community, as far as I'm concerned. All you podcast listeners and us sitting here and eating corn out of cans and whatnot, because that is how we live our lives.
Oh no, out of the pot. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Don't be sorry. It's wonderful. We're all adults here.
Even if we're occasionally gremlins.
I really like this spate of exhibition matches that we've seen popping up.
I do too.
And there are only a few that have been on my radar because of the teams playing in them, obviously. So we had what was the one in London called?
The Gilded Gala.
That's what it was. What a great name.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
We've had the Gilded Gala, and that was the Houston Outlaws, which is why that popped up on my radar. And the London Spitfire played in London. And then recently, essentially twice over the past month and a half, we've had the California Cup, which is the San Francisco Shock and the LA Valiant, with a lot of people making hilarious memes about the gladiators going, guys. Like, no, we keep beating them in the battle for LA. We own LA. We're taking on the Shock now. I love the gladiators, you guys, but it's fun sometimes. And the first of those matches was played in October in Santa Ana, which is Southern California. And the second of those matches was played in Oakland just the other week. And that is Northern California. For people not in California going, what's the difference? About 8 hours.
About 8 hours in like an entirely different climate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's not, you can drive from one end of California to the other, but it's an undertaking. You might as well drive into another time zone.
Yeah.
So having the California Cup, having the Gilded Gala, having these matches, and having them played in the home team's home cities or home areas, as it were, is such a great chance for local fans.
It is. It's great, and it's also something that's great for the teams because it lets people get to know the team. Like, you get to strengthen that bond between the existing fans, but also seeing that happen might give people like who aren't necessarily into Overwatch League or aware of it, they might see this and be like, oh, maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah, like, oh, there's an event playing near me. Let's do it. Let's go.
It's a great little way to sort of increase that groundswell grassroots support that any sort of city-based team needs to have.
Yeah. And it's nice for the local fans to be able to meet their teams. It's nice for London fans who are going to have a much harder time coming down to LA than a lot of stateside teams.
It's true.
To be able to meet their team, to be able to see their team doing the photos of, hey, we're on the London Eye. Hey, we're doing the tour of the tower. Hey, we're doing this. Like, they're in all my local places and I love them. Like, it's great for fans to be able to do that.
Although I'm sure a lot of Londoners just cringed at the idea of, oh, these are the local spots. It's like saying...
I mean, they're tourist spots, but it's still just like, oh, that's there. I live 30 minutes away from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm definitely in for this trend of exhibition matches just continuing because, one, it gives us content to watch and talk about. Two, we get to see the teams kind of have fun and keep everything fresh in our mind going into Season 2. It's great.
And three, again, the community side of this has always been the big draw for me. And I love this for local fans, and I will always be a little sad for NYXL fans that NYXL did not make it to the finals in New York. Like, I know a lot of people who were really disappointed, and I do feel bad for them because that was their chance to see their home team in their home turf, and it did not pan out. And that does suck.
But hey, they got DJ Khaled.
You say that like it's okay. The only thing more disappointing than the DJ Khaled performance was the Shanghai Dragons record.
I still don't know what they expected, getting DJ Khaled to play the finale, just because he doesn't actually, perform music. He just shouts his name in front of it like he's a Pokemon.
It's for... franchise is not the right word, but for an organization that's really, really good at knowing its audience, they crit failed knowing their audience here.
Do they, though? Because,
maybe it's just...
Diablo Mobile.
I'm talking about Overwatch League.
True.
Specifically.
Yeah,
and Diablo is a whole other podcast and a whole other thing to deal with, and I've actually spoken with some Blizzard people about things, and there's a lot that a lot of people don't know, and that obviously we're not authorized to say.
Yes.
It's not true. Like we have insider whatever. It's that we occasionally talk to our friends.
Yeah. And I will...
Regardless, Overwatch League and Overwatch World Cup are usually really good at knowing their audience, understanding their audience, making jokes, getting in with, they get it. So this DJ Khaled thing was such a hilarious misstep. You're so good at this, and then you tripped at the finish line. Yeah.
I mean, there are one way more thematically appropriate act, if you're doing esports. Obviously, they're going to be way more expensive, or maybe not, because Khaled's allegedly huge as a name in the music industry. Daft Punk.
My God.
Wouldn't that have been great?
That, I think, is so far outside of everyone's price range. They don't tour.
No, I know.
Not anymore.
Well, they do very rarely, though.
Yeah,
it's when a new album's coming out and that's like that, But my point is,
get Offspring, get Imagine Dragons, you have so many alt-rock people. Do that.
There are more thematically appropriate acts that also actually do the music instead of do the beats and then curate an album.
Get Bastille. Get anyone.
Just get people that will actually perform live.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll...
Although DJ Khaled's Instagram is one of the funniest. After his son was, for one, he was, live streaming his son's birth.
Okay, we are way off topic here. We're gonna bring it back around.
Just his wife telling him to shut up is great. That's what I'm getting to here.
DJ Khaled is an interesting human being and was not a good pick for finals, and I'd like to think that they have learned from this misstep, and that they will be booking someone a little more thematically appropriate and or able to perform for the finals for season 2.
Or hell, for the opening for season 2.
Oh my
opening
God,
ceremony.
yes. I have to wonder about having a full-on concert in the Blizzard Arena down here. It's not big. The point of Barclays Center is that you could fit so many people in there.
For sure.
The Blizzard Arena down here, I don't know if that's actually set up to be a concert venue.
It's not.
So I don't know what they'd do.
But I can imagine them trying to make a big deal out of it.
I can imagine them doing, oh, if you have tickets for this, here's your ticket for this other concert at this other venue nearby.
Yeah.
And there are many a venue nearby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, they might even be able to they're right next to the iHeartRadio space.
Yeah.
Maybe they can use that.
That'd work.
It's definitely smaller and more intimate than the Blizzard Arena, but, you know, you're VIP people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's definitely some things they could do, but circling way back around to, again, the community-oriented side of things.
Keep doing those exhibition matches. Keep people hyped.
Yeah. And I'm a little sad that, well, the Valiant won the ranch that was in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
And that was one that I was not able to attend because I had 4 other things going on that, literally 4, dear God. But they had a Junkertown photo op, and they had food trucks, and they had
looked
games.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. And the Santa Ana Esports Arena looks like a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, it really does, and I wish I was less broke, otherwise I would have gone, but...
Scheduling could not make it. But
yeah.
it looked like a really, really good time, and the community really pulled it out. Like, regardless of who you were rooting for, it looked like you had a blast. Mm-hmm. And then same up with the Oakland area. And I'm happy for the Shock that they were able to win in Northern California. I mean, I'm sad for my Valiant boys, but I'm happy that local fans got to see their home team take home a victory.
That, and I think it gives some credence to Shock's sort of more long-term strategy. They were one of the teams that very clearly from the beginning said they were building for Season 2, which was why they had a lot of players that weren't necessarily able to play at the start of the league, and why just they're a team that was really trying to build something for more lasting success. Now that they've got all those pieces in place, you're starting to see a really strong team come out of it.
It does make me wonder why they let Dante go, though, because he was still a very strong part of that, and now he's on the Outlaws.
The one, again, I get it. I don't know why they necessarily traded for Smurf, just because they've got Super, and Super is very good at what he does, and I think he's a great main tank to sort of anchor your team around. But at the same time, he's also... Dante, I should say. Dante is someone who's going to be very valuable unless the meta changes somewhat drastically between now and the start of Season 2.
Blizzard has 5 more heroes planned. They might roll out another Brigitte and have someone who kills goats. Let's be real. The Chupacabra hero.
Yeah, but that's not even what I'm talking about. Sombra is just very strong right now.
Yeah.
Sombra is powerful. And Dante was one of the consistently best Sombras in Overwatch League.
There was sure for.
Yeah, and he's a damn good Tracer. He's a good Sombra. Tracer's not used as much right now. Sombra's used a lot right now. Mm-hmm. It's a very good tool for the Outlaws to have, considering they didn't have a Tracer Sombra specialist. But with the Shock, they have Sinatra. They have who's, very good Tracer player. I haven't seen him really do much Sombra other than a little bit at the World Cup, and even then it was more other people filling in that role. But if he can put that together for his team, it's a very valuable asset.
Makes sense.
Yeah, especially if he can sort of get over, like... Arrow talked about how in scrims for Team USA, Sinatra was a ridiculously dominant player, putting on these clutch performances all over the place, looked ridiculously strong, but less so in the tournament itself, and it seems to be a recurring theme with him. Like
he's good when it doesn't matter.
Or at the very least, maybe the pressure affects him a little bit and he's not able to reach the heights that he is capable of reaching.
Yeah, and that's a thing for a lot of people, for
That's
a lot
true.
of performers. And again, we were talking a little bit in our BlizzCon episode about how, holy shit, we're at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Probably had some effect on the morale of all of the teams.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And that's something that you have to work to overcome.
Yeah. I will say, though, I still think it's a trade that made more sense for the Outlaws than the Shock, but...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Outlaws walked away with Dante.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, not
Unless
that...
we see Smurf pull something crazy out.
Yeah. And again, I don't think it hurts the Shock tremendously, especially if the meta does end up changing. But at the same time, you've plugged a serious deficiency in the Outlaws roster.
Mm-hmm. For something whose value we question in terms of your own roster.
We don't know how he's going to compare to Super.
Yeah. And we're not saying that Smurf's not a good player. That's not
he's
where
damn
we're
good.
going with this. Yeah. But it's very obvious what the Outlaws get out of this, and it's not terribly obvious what the Shock get out of it.
Yeah.
So that's just the big question.
Yeah, pretty much. And again, get your shot ready. We shall see.
We'll see how this turns out.
Yep.
That's just kind of how this goes. It's basically we'll see the podcast.
And of course, we'll actually start seeing as we close into Season 2 of the Overwatch League, which...
2.5 to 3 months from now.
Pretty much.
And the format of this podcast will probably change around then because it's going to be a lot less news and a lot more...
Talking about the games.
Yeah. Yeah. Games, meta changes. We'll see. I'm wondering if any... Because supposedly, and I say supposedly because I've heard people say this, but I haven't actually seen it from an official Blizzard article. Supposedly, they've got the next 5 heroes planned and are already working on them.
Yeah, that's been the word, and I'm very interested to see how it all plays out.
Because we have Ashe, who just dropped.
Yeah.
Previously to her, we had Wrecking Ball,
Yes.
who was June, I want to say?
Oh, God. Something like that.
Because he was around and was in the All-Star game. And the All-Star game was May, June-ish, springtime. So... it hasn't even been, if he dropped in June, which is what I'm running with right now, because I don't remember off the top of my head, then it hasn't even been 6 months before they give us a new hero. And of course it makes sense to coincide with BlizzCon, but it hasn't even been 6 months.
Well, they've been doing it every 6 months or so, because if you think about it, we've had 5 heroes dropped since launch, and it hasn't been
2.5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're probably looking at the next one in somewhere between May and July, I'd
Something
say.
like that, yeah.
So not before the next season starts, unless they really want to heck everybody up.
Yeah, which I hope they don't, because that's one of the,
Brigitte was an upheaval between stages of the league.
Yeah, it was. And honestly, the meta changes really make the Overwatch League difficult to predict and difficult to sort of adapt to. It's hard to develop a consistent idea of who's strong and who's what or whatever, just because one hero or a slight balance change, shifting, stuff towards dive or towards triple tank or towards quad tank or towards goats or whatever, can really dramatically affect teams. And I feel like the Overwatch League is a little more proofed against that than some of the smaller teams, because they have the coaching staff and they have a larger than 6-man roster to sort of...
Well, they do now.
Well,
again, I continue to kind of look at the mayhem and go, there's a reason.
Yeah, true,
They
but
implemented that 8-person rule, and I bet it's because the mayhem.
Well, they were still the exception. Nobody else did that.
Yeah, but it's still very much the exception, proving why that rule is a thing.
Yeah, but my point is that having the support staff, having the extra players for the added flexibility to sort of adjust your roster around your core, they have some degree of ability to adapt to new metas quickly without compromising their team completely. But there were times where we saw teams previously that were really good triple tank teams, just as an example, Ninjas in Pajamas, when the meta shifted to dive, got completely screwed by it and did not look anywhere near the same caliber that they did before that.
I would love to go to Vegas and talk to a bookie, because
See how they calculate
I wouldn't
odds
be-
based on meta changes and that?
I wonder if people do betting on Overwatch League. I'm sure it's
I
not
think
something that
they-
Blizzard would like.
Well, I think they do.
Because of course
I'm pretty
they
sure
wouldn't.
it is a thing.
But I would love to talk to someone who is a bookie for that and just see, for one, how much would the bookie know about the game and how it shifts the odds? Do they
Yeah.
have an expert calculating things based on, like...
I'm sure
I
any-
would love to see how they
yeah.
handle that, or if they just kind of wait to see which way the wind blows, because you never know. NYXL was your safe bet all through the last couple stages, and then we hit stage 4 and everything just hit a wall. And the Valiant walked away with it.
Yeah, but there was a certain degree of predictability in that, though. Like, we didn't think of it at the time, but they were really strong with dive, and they definitely kind of rested on their laurels a bit going into stage 4.
And by stage 4, Brigitte was in play. Like, I do appreciate that they don't change patches or add new characters
Until
you hit the end of a stage.
And I
not switching horses in the middle of a stream.
that's
Nice.
the barest minimum of what you can do for these guys.
It is. But also changing up the scheduling, having another day of play, having matches at different times, having bye weeks for teams.
We still don't know if that's going to happen.
I will be very, very surprised if that is not the case.
Yeah.
Because we've added 8 teams. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop Wednesday as a play day and go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of Wednesday through Saturday. Because Wednesday and Thursday are always their difficult to fill days, and Friday and Saturday are always booked out.
Yeah, well, now I just want to do the math, because each team's going to play, what was it, they're playing 28 games in the season now?
I'm not sure.
I think it was 28, because I think they're dropping down to 7 games Let's look up the format and do this math real quick to close out this show.
Okay. Give me a... Yeah. You go ahead and take a look, and we'll... Wasn't expecting to close the show with math, but now I'm intrigued because we're in this. But yeah, I would absolutely love to talk to someone who either bets on League or who is a bookie for League betting and see just what does that even look like. Because I've been to Vegas and I've hung out in the Rio and watched all of these different screens with all of these different horse racing and football and God knows what else, everything up there. And all of the ticker tape up top with the different games and the different odds, and here's college and here's pro and here's this and here's that, and what are the odds and what's the spread, and do they even have a spread for betting for Overwatch League?
I'm sure.
Can you bet on a reverse sweep? Are the Gladiators playing? Yeah, I want to bet an extra on the reverse sweep.
Okay.
Because that is their preferred method of victory.
It's true. So, each team is going to be playing 28 games throughout the season. So that means each team's playing 7 games a stage. So that means...
And how many weeks in a stage? 5?
4 5-week stages.
Okay.
So, 7 games over 5 weeks.
So you're either playing every week or you're doubling up most weeks and have a bye week.
Yes.
If they add... Again, the question is whether they will drop Wednesday in order to add Sunday, because they've definitely talked about adding Sunday, or whether they will play Wednesday through Sunday and have teams double down, but also have them have bye weeks. So that is the question.
Well, here's the thing. Again, we're going to math this, because 20 teams playing 7 games each over the course of a stage. That's 140 games. And divide that by 5 weeks, you're still going to need to play 28 games each week.
And that is, we have 3 matches a night.
Yeah, 3 matches a night.
Which is essentially 6 games, because 2 teams.
Yeah. So, it's possible, but I think they'll keep that extra day.
What I'm wondering about is, again, like we said, it's easier to fill weekends than it is Wednesday, Thursday. And I wonder if, having the lights on in the arena, having to power everything, having to bring in snacks, having to pay security, et cetera, if adding that extra day is worth the cost,
Well-
or if dropping one of the least attended days in favor of a day that would likely have more attendance would make more sense. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what the numbers are on that.
And it's worth thinking out, but remember, the Overwatch League was a big financial success.
This is true.
All of the people who bought in said, like, the previous esports experience people were like, the revenue stream was like nothing they've ever seen before.
Well, yeah, it's $100 a jersey,
Yeah.
and people are buying them.
It's-
I have one on my wish list
But
for
not
Christmas.
but not just that, but they've got big name sponsors. They've proven themselves to be a financially viable commodity. They could very well get bigger sponsors, and let's not forget they've adjusted the schedule to be more friendly to EU viewers, meaning that you've helped sort of solidify your ability to reach a different market as well. So you have to take into account that maybe that, you know, you do have to pay for that extra day worth of stuff, but you're also getting a bigger increase if the EU people can watch more regularly.
And then you also have more ads run from the sponsors. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they pay for that ad time, or if they pay for a certain
Presumably.
amount of ads, or if it's just a flat
Well,
fee.
sponsorships depend. Like,
Yeah. I just don't know if this is run a little more like TV, where you have to
Yeah.
schedule things in, or if it's a flat fee, a certain number of ads. Again, it would be really interesting to see the numbers, but I very seriously doubt that
They're
being
not gonna-
outside of that industry that we'll ever see them.
yeah, they don't want to disclose that.
Yeah, barring a leak, and, you know, we're not asking for that.
Yeah.
That's not... Don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Don't do that.
Don't leak corporate info like that.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good for your personal situation, considering they'll sue the crap out of you
Yes.
at best and press charges at worst.
And also, don't do anything that could potentially hamstring a thing that we all love.
That as well.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
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 I'm wondering about... again, I'm going back to... We're looking at sponsorships, and I'm going back to DeFranta. Who's going to sponsor Atlanta? I have to wonder, because we have, like, Otter Pops is the new sponsor for the LA Valiant, and they've
Yeah.
also had movie and TV tie-ins, and I
Yeah.
will forever be sad that I was not able to get my hands on one of the Ash vs. Evil Dead jerseys that they were giving away. I
Yeah.
did not win those raffles. Those giveaways, rather. They weren't raffles.
Again,
But, like,
we'll-
T-Mobile is officially doing the Houston Outlaws. Like,
yeah.
I would say at this point that every team has at least one big sponsor.
I'm sure that they're going to find some, just considering the parent organization is big enough that they've got ties, they can make it happen, and I doubt DeFran's behavior is going to be enough to necessarily scare off all sponsors, considering most of the people who would make those decisions don't know and don't give enough of a shit to really know, other than like see the potential revenue stream and promotion from Overwatch League and be like, oh, okay, we can get in on that, because
And I mean, Jack in the Box still does fuel, right?
Yes.
And they've been doing that from the get-go,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was the first announced sponsor for Overwatch League, actually.
And it would be Jack in the Box, food for people who are up at 2 a.m. playing video games.
Yep.
I love it so much. 2 a.m. Jack in the Box tacos.
They know-
Breakfast of champions. I have no problem with Jack in the Box. I just find this really funny.
Everyone should go look up Dallas Fuel, Jack in the Box, Harry Hook. Because there's a video where he sings about how much he loves Jack in the Box tacos. And if you know Harry Hook, to quote Seagull, he's the loud Spaniard who, after speaking English for 3 years, is gradually losing the ability to speak English. It's amazing. Mickey is playing like the Pink Panther theme, and Harry Hook is
I think
singing
I've
about
seen this.
tacos. I'm pretty sure I've sent it to you, but
I've
we're going to watch it after
seen
we stop
this.
recording. Just do yourself a favor, brighten up your day, and watch it.
Honestly, I'm amazed that In-N-Out hasn't sponsored the Valiant by this point.
Yeah. Although In-N-Out is not like a positive meme in the Valiant community.
No.
It's not something it's something talked about for being ridiculously bad.
But it's not.
Well, yeah, like In and Out is not in and of itself, but in the context of the Valiant, it's not. Getting taken to In and Out by Valiant standards is not a good thing. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, and this should probably be where we ended because we're approaching like an hour and a half.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Yeah, but so there was a segment in the Valiant sort of behind the scenes series where there was talk about how during the dip in sort of stage 2, where the Valiant were on rocky footing and were trying a lot of different things to try and live up to the potential that their roster has. And
back when you didn't know if the good Valiant or the mediocre Valiant was going to be playing today.
Exactly. And
it was a Jekyll and Hyde team.
And someone who had caught some internal flack, like a lot of the players, apparently, according to this video, which was really weirdly disclosing stuff I would think you don't want to talk about. But apparently a bunch of players thought Agilities was one of the problems, and he kind of got benched, and apparently some people weren't particularly nice to him, but there was a...
Brady is a good boy.
Yeah, and I agreed. And there was a bit where Noah Winston, the owner of Immortals, the parent company of the LA Valiant, took Agilities to In and Out and basically explained to him in this like weird conversation in like his car while they're eating In and Out that like, we're gonna give you another shot at like, you know, the main roster, and this is gonna be like the shot. Like, you have to perform here or I'm not gonna be able to guarantee you that the coaches and players are gonna give you another opportunity to really prove yourself here and all that. And it's just like, one,
wow,
really weird place to have that talk, and it was a weirdly casual tone to talk about it all in. And
2, videoed.
Yeah, why would you put that in your video? Because it makes your team seem like a bunch of dicks who are bullying their teammate who they don't think is doing well. Like, that video made nobody look good in any way, except for everyone going like, oh, poor Agilities.
And then he can never eat In and Out again.
Yeah, and now anytime, you know, it's become a meme of just like, oh, gonna take him to In and Out, like, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the joke, and I think the videos were the Inside Valiant, were they? Was that what they were called?
I think so.
Yeah, and it's interesting stuff because, again, you get to a look at the team and how it works and the space that they practice in and all that, and it's really cool to see. But it was transparent to the point of, like, damaging PR occasionally. And I kind of love it for that.
I feel like we have a different PR team since then.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, honestly.
The Valiant one was questionable. The Dallas one was depressing. The Dallas one was just like week after week of just like everyone being like, I feel like we came so close and we know that we can do this, but for whatever reason, we just can't. We just keep losing. We can never bring it together, and it almost doesn't seem to matter anymore, but we're gonna keep trying. And that was just like for months straight was just those videos, and it's just like, oh my god, someone buy everyone in this team a beer now. Like,
I don't think everyone on that team can have a beer. Someone bring them ice cream.
True. Yeah, OG can't drink in America.
Yeah, someone bring them ice cream.
Yeah. Get
bring
him
the beer ice cream that
Get him the Lucio. Get him the Lucio-O's with water.
Oh.
I don't.
Okay, at some point, supposedly these are going to be sold in grocery stores in December. At which point, knowing my mom, she will pick up a box for me and be like, "I bought you something," and send me a picture. And I'm like, "Are you going to eat them when you're?" I thought it's the thing you like, and I'm like, "Yeah."
I'm still mad, by the way, because apparently everyone who was at day one of the World Cup got a coupon for a free box of Lucio's, except me.
I don't know if they gave them out at the World Cup. I think they were.
That's what everyone said.
Else.
They were like, there's someone going around the World Cup, and then there's someone going around like the area outside, and it's like, no one gave me shit.
Well, so I had a friend down from Europe, and she was not able to get a box, and they're not going to sell them in Europe because import taxes are bonkers. And when I was in London 10 years ago, I need to go back, you could get a box of Pop-Tarts for £4, which is $8. Imports of American food are crazy because we have some chemicals in our food that our laws say are fine, and then EU laws are like, why did you put this in food? So importing is nuts, and you can't always get stuff. So I doubt that Lucio O's are ever going to be sold in the UK or in Europe in general. I don't know. But we're going to get them probably in grocery stores because Kellogg's partnership in December. And I'm not surprised that this happened because we got that email a while back about, we have a partnership with Kellogg's. Buy these specific products and you'll get a code for loot boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, cool.
Also, go watch the video of the Dallas Fuel trying Lucio O's while there's a bit where Taimu and Unko just, like, eat the cereal while, like, staring into each other's eyes, and then they can't keep a straight face. They just start cracking up.
Yeah, no, I still go back to that video of just shotgunning a bottle of maple syrup at the desk.
Have you seen the one with the Philadelphia Fusion eating the really spicy noodles?
No, but I've seen the Mayhem trying Girl Scout cookies. I got real mad because they blasted tagalongs. I'm like, tagalongs are amazing.
They're my favorite too. They're my favorite too. But I will say it was very endearing to watch them try this.
But you put
especially because poor sick Zebasai, like.
Well, and you put you have a bunch of European players, and Europe gets real good chocolate, and America doesn't always.
Yeah.
And you give them a whole bunch of cookies, a lot of which are covered in American chocolate. Of course, they're going to have opinions.
Yeah.
That doesn't make tagalongs any less goddamn amazing, but of course they're going to have opinions.
But nobody gave them milk.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's like, here's some water to have between cookies. Incorrect.
Anyway, Fusion eating spicy noodles. Dallas talking about tacos and Lucio O's. The Mayhem, the cookies with Mayhem, because they changed the name like 8 times in the video.
Of course they did.
Mayhem Cookies, it's a very strong show, like Swoosh. Like, I love Swoosh trying to sell it, like, as they're making it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do on YouTube. You do 5 different calls to action, and you rebrand.
Yeah. Go watch all of these videos. That's your homework before the next episode.
You're gonna put all of them in the comments, yeah?
Yeah. Or I'll send them to you, and they can be in the description. That's
too much work. You're gonna put them all in the comments, right? They'll be there eventually. We'll figure it out.
Or you can just look them up on YouTube. They're easy to find.
Yeah. In the meantime, where can the people find you?
At _rage_nerd on Twitter, and also when the Overwatch Pretenders games are happening, look for the Mercury Cougars, and I'm playing the main tank. You can see me as Cryptic.
And I'm Katie. You can follow me all over the social medias, as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you want an Overwatch primer, or if you know someone who could use an Overwatch Basics primer, I recently wrote one for Fanversation. It's a lot of basic vocabulary, so you can understand what we're talking about when we talk about a triple tank, triple support play, and that's how they pulled off their reverse sweep. So go to fanversation.com, look me up there. I have a whole bunch of Overwatch League stuff there, including, like I said, the recent overview for the tutorial. I called it something earlier and I lost it, and it was such a good name. The Primer. There we go, the Primer. I'm good at this. It's been a long episode, you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Peace.